Good evening and welcome to City Pulse. Tonight, we're joined by Annie Green, who recently received an MBE for services to vulnerable children in Gibraltar. And the honour was presented by King Charles himself. But what did she say to him and what did he say to her? There's only one way to find out. Stay tuned. We'll speak to Annie a little later. But right now, wow, it's been a busy week. Good evening to Kenneth, Heidi and David. ¿Cómo estamos?
Hello, very well. Here we are again.
All good. Actually, before we get going, a reminder that City Pulse is, as always, on email, citypulse@gbc.gi. We're also on WhatsApp. This is new. You can get... WhatsApp is not new, but we are new. So there's a number to call or just message if you've got something to say. And there is plenty to say, I can promise you that. So...
WhatsApp is new to GBC.
What's... The dinosaurs.
Right.
Pedestrian safety improvements made or being made. That was news today, yesterday. What do we think? I've got a feeling I know what's coming. I'm going to start with Heidi because I feeling I know.
Sí, deja que ellos hablen antes.
Venga.
Well, not really, really good. I think it
Can only be a good thing.
Sí, it can only. My niece, for example, she was saying that on a couple of occasions she's nearly been run over by the Pizza Hut one. And obviously she's got a baby, she's got a pram. I think it's really good. The one down Pizza Hut, there's another one which I saw down here, opposite Roja, what's it called? Roja Court. Mm-hmm. They're doing
Just
one here
outside
as
GBC.
well, outside GBC, Aki.
Yeah. So
I think it's a really good initiative. It will obviously accidents waiting to happen.
Yes.
We do have
especially
lots.
at night time, no? When yeah.
Devil's Tower Road, for example, and this past week, the amount of complaints from residents in Laguna and Devil's Tower Road, which I've seen on Speak Freely, and they're right. They're
Dave?
right.
I think anything that's going to be about pedestrian safety is good. So we're all fans of that, and I think it's all welcome. But there is a lot more that can be done. You know, I think there's a bit of mixed messages as such. But we've got the new pedestrian crossings, which are always welcome. But then you have Devil's Tower Road, que está fatal.
As in since the construction of the
It's been
Monument
like that.
Plaza, no?
Well, yeah, that's the latest of it. So I know that they've got to move the pedestrian, like the pavement and where people cross, but it's terrible. So I think that would be something. Claro.
You've got to walk through the road. I was invited to one of the wellness clinics that there is, a wellness, and I was just looking. They were not.
¿Dónde cruza?
¿Por dónde cruzo? I've got to go through the road. And obviously, you can't just park anywhere. You've got to walk. You've got to walk.
That northern footpath is temporarily closed. At the what you mentioned before on Linewall Road, Heidi, for anybody that might not have seen it yet, there's a new light-controlled crossing on Linewall Road just outside the youth centre.
The youth centre, yep.
There are new bollards at Keighley Way Tunnel as well, and there are zone markings outside all schools. So this is, the government say they're aiming to improve road safety and also promote walking. Kenneth?
Sí, bueno, sí, también. I mean...
I know you're a keen walker.
Sí, yeah. I mean, if anybody is short of the 10,000 steps per day, que vengan a hablar conmigo, que yo tengo para regalar, ¿vale? Pero I have to agree with what David and Heidi are saying. Mira, anything that we do for safety is always to be welcome. A ver si me entiende, ¿no? Pero there's, to my mind, a bit of superficiality about this, ¿vale? Porque safety que pinten school zone en la calle. So, okay, vale. Pero there's so many other issues. You just mentioned Devil's Tower Road. If we're really talking about pedestrian safety, that whole area needs to have railings on both sides.
Yes. Been talking about this for a while.
Sí, pero no, eso
as in residents
eso
of
es
residents in the area.
What about los delivery drivers esto de these two companies?
Yes.
We're going to advertise them.
Yes.
Esa gente van como maniacs por todos lados. Hacen lo que le dan la gana, vamos. Hacen lo que le dan la gana. They came up with this initiative that they need to have a license, que si para acá, que para allá. But if there's no enforcement, pues no pasa nada. A ver si me entiende, niño. With bicycles up and down Main Street, like if it was the Tour de France, por ahí, ¿no? The state of the roads. Es que to talk about traffic and pedestrian safety
A program.
es un programa entero, ¿vale? Because there's so many issues. Y espérate, antes que se me olvide, because this is an issue that somebody... Talking about safety and traffic, ¿vale? I think I mentioned this to you some time ago. Speeding fines, okay? You get a speeding fine. Speeding is not right, obviously. But why do you have the same fine irrespective of how fast you have driven past that? O sea, if you go in a 30-kilometer speed limit y te cogen con 35, tú pagas 300 libras. ¿Vale? But if you're doing 60,
También paga 300
también paga 300
Yo lo veo
libras.
bien, a fine is a fine. Yo
Sí,
creo
no,
que it's a
a fine is a
deterrent,
fine,
sí,
but
que
it should
no.
be pro rata, David.
As in,
Contra
the
más
faster you go, the
velocidad,
bigger the penalty.
that
the
is
bigger
way
the
it works.
penalty. Sí, I agree with you. En eso, sí.
That is what the
No,
way
I
it
think
works
there's a
in every
different
other
way.
country.
No, no
No,
sé.
you're speeding, you're
Sí,
speeding.
you're speeding,
I
you're
understand.
speeding.
Sí, pero
Pero-
there is something to be said about somebody que se despista un minuto,
Sí.
¿vale?
Ahí a 300. Yeah,
Going
yeah.
35,
course.
going
Tío que va a
35 is not
100.
reckless, whereas going 65
I
is
agree.
reckless.
That is why
Yeah.
I'm saying that the fines should be pro rata, ¿vale?
Yeah.
The faster you have broken that speed limit, the
The
heavier
bigger the
fine.
penalty, yes.
Yeah.
But then
That's
they
how
wouldn't
it
be
works.
making as much money as they...
Eh?
Then they would probably get less revenue from it as well. No, I see what you mean.
How
no, yeah.
cynical of you to suggest. Thank
you, I
a making scheme.
No, but, no, but I see, no, that maybe you're breaking the law at 35 isn't breaking the law at 60. No sé,
Pero
I think
que-
it has to be a deterrent. Y mira, a fine is a fine, no one likes it. Pero no, yo
The
no.
more, the
No lo
heavier
veo.
the fine, the greater the deterrent. Porque es lo que te ha dicho, ¿vale? Tú te puedes despistar en un minuto, ¿ya?
But ya going
Pero-
above a certain limit, that's reckless driving.
Sí,
Pero
eso
Si
después-
es
tú vas a
pasando un kilo.
52, 55, no te das cuenta.
Claro que te despistes, tú eras,
Yes.
guaranteed that if they charge you 300, you're not gonna no te va a despistar más as often. No, I
te
think
puedes-
'cause
no,
these
it's
things
true,
are
it's
true.
true,
It's
it's
all
true,
it
it's
takes.
true.
I
yeah,
disagree
that's all
with
it
you.
takes.
It's so easy. It's so easy. Estás despistado or in a given moment, maybe you're accelerating a bit porque tiene uno con un scooter delante, un e-scooter haciendo lo que le da la gana. Otro safety issue, ¿vale? That
They
these
go
people
in and out,
weave all
yes.
over the place, ¿vale? Y tú a lo mejor lo ves y acelera un poquitito.
Sí, because I've done it. Yo lo hago.
We've
the
had,
point.
we've had on our roads and pedestrian safety, we've actually had a brilliant point made. Thanks for getting in touch via WhatsApp. Anonymously, though, so we can't credit anyone in particular, but they say, can something be done about the road between Brimpton and the Garrison Library? It's basically pedestrians having to walk along the road there.
Oh, ahora. I was trying to visualize it, picture where.
Yeah.
Sí, yeah.
Yeah, and that is a problem for locals, for tourists, especially when you get sort of a bus coming one way and a Garrison Gym, it should be said, sorry, not Garrison Library. Heavy traffic there, plus sort of a mother and pram, for example. Suddenly that's a very, very
And
sketchy
it's very
scenario.
narrow.
Yeah,
It's very narrow. Two cars.
yeah.
One coming this way, especially, como dicho, a bus. And then you've got people walking on this side of the road. I've been with a car y no me puedo echar para allá because
Yeah.
there's a bus coming this way. But I don't want to hit the person
Quite
here.
often it's tourists in that situation that have never...
No, and loads of locals who go walking
También.
and running por ahí.
Mira,
que
otra,
vamos.
otra cosa que estaba diciendo tú de safety, for example, and you're all in favor of safety for pedestrians, ¿vale? Pero sometimes pedestrians have to be more responsible. Y te voy a decir por qué. Mira, Europort Road, between what is Time Out and the hospital,
Yeah.
¿vale? Hay un zebra crossing ahí, pero la gente todavía insiste en cruzar el roundabout.
Sí, yeah.
No
guilty.
pueden andar 5 metros.
Sí.
What is it? Because I'm
We've all done
driving,
it, we've all
sorry.
done it. Okay.
I can save myself 15 seconds there, Kenneth.
Oh,
Busy-
yeah,
busy life.
importantísimo. No te vayas a perder el appointment del
No, but
GHA.
I'm not going to pretend to be a saint here.
No,
I'm guilty of
neither
that.
am I, pero eso es lo que pasa también, ¿no? You know,
Cuando vaya a Costa Coffee with my friends to have me voy a acordar de ti and I'm going to go because I always go.
No, yo me
Time
acuerdo
out
de ti y
to
voy a
Atlantic
cruzar.
Suite.
I'm not going to stand there with my mobile phone and embarrass people.
Oh, toma la foto.
And you know what you've done to yourself.
I've
now.
done it myself,
I was going to
Román.
say, now on you can never do that.
Ya como
You
lo
can
haga
never
que
commit
vea.
that petty crime.
Sí, no, pero I don't claim to be an angel at all.
Bueno, no, you did say, hay que ver la gente lo que hace.
Sí, y
porque
yo
that's,
soy gente también, ¿sabes?
bueno,
Todavía.
okay. Mira, una cosa on the traffic, just because I mentioned, because part of what they've, the improvements are about getting people to walk more or use alternative modes of transport like buses and bikes. But I just wanted to say that I've noticed recently that in casemates there's hardly anywhere to park your bicycle in town or anywhere else. And they've removed some of the parkings that were available by where the new Starbucks is at casemates. Because they put more chairs there, y antes había parking.
Los bicycle parking bays.
It's
de
a
verdad.
bicycle parking base, so it's only like a call out that hopefully, I know this is a stage plan, that they put more bike parking. Porque es que no hay, if you go in between meetings, you're on your bike y después no sabe dónde
Bueno, but we always talk about the infrastructure having to be in place if
Bike
people are going
parking. Bike parking.
Bicycle...
Parking.
No, in general, ya, pero vamos,
Oh,
let's break it down.
Eso
si
es
no-
otro tema.
Ya.
Yeah.
¿Tú
Otro
sabes
tema.
another spot, which is also an accident waiting to happen, sorry. Montague Crescent and the Bahía.
Yeah.
El cruce de ahí.
Yeah.
También.
Ahí, eso es
But
mortal
what
as
could be
well.
done there? That's
Okay,
your
pedestrians.
transport minister for the day. What do you change there?
Oof. What would I change there? No sé, signage. First of all, I think signage is needed there. Y, as you said, pedestrians también, they have to be more
In some countries,
vigilant
sorry,
también.
Heidi, in some countries I know that jaywalking is illegal.
Sí.
Maybe
Pero
we
how
need-
fast are they jaywalking?
Con el
Depende,
cámara.
¿no? You're running for that.
Si vamos a hablar de safety, let's look at it globally, ¿vale? No vamos a hablar de pintar school zone ahí en la calle.
You know,
y
what's
cosas así,
interesting
¿no?
actually. We're speaking about exactly that, about whether it should be pro rata or not. In Norway, your fine is based on your salary.
Really?
And so the more you earn, the bigger your fine.
Entonces,
Whether you're
a
going
mí-
35
Bueno,
or-
entonces,
Ojo. A mí me dan descuento entonces.
tú que eres
A mí me
pensioner.
dan dinero encima.
We've had a couple of more messages in about different sort of spots around Gibraltar where it's, as you say, an accident waiting to happen. The exit of the King's Bastion Leisure Centre onto Linewall Road, no crossing there. The only alternative is going down to Campion Park and up the British War Memorial Steps. Not an option for prams or wheelchairs, as that lift is often broken, and we've often mentioned that.
Yep.
So it's one that will continue,
on
and
and
we'll
on
just
and
continue rolling.
It's a
over.
very big topic.
It's a big one. It's a big one, and we'll
topic.
revisit it.
We can't do justice to it here now.
Yeah.
¿Verdad?
Yeah.
No?
Sí.
Yeah.
What we could do justice to is AI. Why do you laugh?
No, I laugh because it's such a huge topic as well.
Yeah.
Another
AI in
program for
general.
AI.
Minutito on
minutito.
AI. No, I'm
Okay.
joking. I'm joking. World-leading experts on the rock last week.
Last Thursday, the
You were
Sambo.
involved?
I wasn't involved. directly. I just went as a guest. But I do know the guys who organised it. So it was the first Gibraltar AI Summit, and it was run by Legal Balance, this guy called Scott, and Toby White, who's been on GBC a few times. His brain with AI stuff is
Yeah, that
amazing.
must be amazing.
¿Es humano?
Yes,
That's right.
he is. Sometimes I'm not sure. I
think.
think so.
My cousin was there and he said it was really, really
It's really good,
interesting.
because I've been to a few of these things, and everything is AI right now, so it almost feels like AI this, AI that, and it just becomes a bit of a buzzword, no? And what they did at this event, said, okay, they had people from the UK, world leaders in what they're doing, and it was covered practical ways to implement it in your business, how then that impacts the culture of your business as well. So, okay, say you're using AI for to automate some tasks. How do people feel within the organization once that change starts happening?
Less valued.
See, bueno, I guess, but it does have an effect as well. And then there was a really good panel as well, chaired by Jonathan Scott. They were talking about the ethics So it was a really interesting morning. There was like application, what the technology is, what it can do, and then also the ethics. You know, I think what came up was when Gemma opened it, and I think it was a thread through the morning, was that we have to adopt AI, but with responsibility. So it's almost like not just to...
We as in
Yeah, I
the
think we as a...
news or the tech giants?
Well, tech giants, I think it's almost too late, no? You've got like 5 tech
That's
bros
what I mean. Yeah. it's-
running the world, right? So that was that was actually talked about in the ethics panel, no? Here's us trying to use it in a way for
Claro.
a good force of good,
Claro.
and then you have Elon Musk
Exactly.
liándola, you know?
Bueno.
Bueno, so, but no, all in all, a really
Was there a
good...
sense of kind of like optimism, pessimism,
Sí.
a bit of both maybe?
I think optimism, and I think it's here, ¿vale? And I think one of the biggest things I learned was that it's beyond now just using it, for example, to like ChatGPT to do stuff. We're in the era now of AI agents much more, and that's revolutionizing how people are employing. You know, so one of the guys, Paul, who did this talk, he had the big slide, and it was a controversial one because he said, like, your next hire is AI, right? So they acknowledge that maybe AI is coming for some of those kind of junior or more manual or more repetitive tasks, but so also raised the point of saying don't be too dependent on it in the way that you think and reason and make decisions, and really try to develop young people too, maybe with different skills, because we all need to be human and be able to reason and make decisions. But it's there.
To me,
Scary.
it's uncharted territory, and it's scary. But then the next day, I'm quite excited by it, and then the day after that, I'm back to being scared, and I can't quite make my
I
mind
think
up.
everyone's a bit like this. Like, one of the guys did a demo, and he said, like, with this agent stuff. So what that means is that you'll be able to ask AI to do things on your behalf, not just like write a letter, do a social media post, the stuff that people are using for. It's like, do my online shopping for me. Check me into the flight that I'm flying to Gatwick tomorrow. And it will go in your emails, it will go into the website, it will start to do all of this kind of stuff for you. Then, for example, in a professional setting, you might get a junior person in your team or one of your colleagues to do that. It's now AI that's doing that.
That post is lost.
Claro. Yeah, that post is lost. But,
So the agent, as in, for example, a travel agent.
yeah,
Ya.
también. It's
Okay,
there's under
todo
threat.
esto, I mean, you're talking about uncharted territory, no? Pero I would imagine that this is like a kind of technological revolution which is going to affect society and the world in the same way that perhaps the Industrial Revolution did 200 years ago.
Even more so is what
No sé,
is what
porque
the experts
we
think.
weren't around, pero imagine people at that time being faced with all this technology all of a sudden. ¿Comprende? Con que I think there's a kind of a parallel there, no? We're moving into something that we're not quite sure where it's going to lead and what all the problems which are going to come
Okay,
out.
I fear for the elderly generation.
Hello.
No, tú todavía estás...
Yo soy un dinosaur.
No, pero, Kenneth, but you can more or less defend yourself, or you can. Tú haces booking to flights, a lo mejor por tu mobile.
Sí, bueno, con un
but-
poquito de trabajo, sí, pero yes.
No, pero you can do it. My parents también,
Yeah.
so far, but there will
Bueno,
be
I
a time
know.
where the travel agent, así como lo veo yo, if ya everything's done online,
Sí, pero...
travel agents will be going.
yeah,
the way
pero-
I see it.
Yeah, you'd think so.
There will be people who have no idea how to book online, how to use AI.
Sí.
Hace todo esto.
I would like to think that AI won't be able to replace what is the human-to-human interaction.
hope so.
¿Vale?
We hope
Yeah,
so.
porque AI is, I suppose, very clinical and factual.
¿Tú sabes
Yeah.
algo? Una cosa que dijo one of the speakers on that. It feels like we're scared of, or there is an anxiety of, like, the computers becoming more human. Whereas actually one of the flip sides that we might see is actually humans becoming more like...
More like
because we're losing it, more like
yeah?
computers, more processed, more plugged into just that side.
No,
But,
pero es que in my lifetime, for example, when you look at young people, no? Yeah? how their lives have changed because of technology.
Yes.
Ya casi no se ve niños jugando
En
en
el
los
patio.
patios, no se ve. Los
que en el
niños todos
patio.
plugged in,
Yes.
Yeah.
¿vale? Those kind of things, tú sabes. The only thing is that the technology now is advancing at such a fast rate that I think it's going to be very difficult for us to keep a pace of it.
We had a few months ago, you might remember, Tag Patience, who's a local, one of the
Amazing
leading
guy, yeah.
sort of thinkers locally, an AI, another super duper brain. And he was going 1, 2, 3 steps further. He was talking about AI potentially impacting and revolutionizing the economy and politics
Bueno,
and
eso-
the world as we know it. And I'm like, man,
Robin.
this is too much for my little brain.
Mira,
And so I kicked him out.
little brain here. Estaba leyendo algo in the BBC website about this Mythos AI thing, ¿vale? And how the economists are a bit worried about this particular element of AI. Yo en verdad no lo entendí mucho, pero apparently they're very, very concerned about this particular AI model or whatever it is in terms of managing the economy and stuff like that, no? Yeah?
It's
See, it opens up a lot on the global level, and I think this is it. There is that whole element of going, who's running these platforms? Anthropic. There's a lot of technology, that is now hooked in with U.S. politics. What are the ethics and what are the uses of AI? Because when you look from a business case, it's about, is it about being more productive, so you can sell more, do more, AI never sleeps, make more money, or can it then be used for good? There's places that for sure it can be used for good, in health.
But
Yes.
equally,
in health,
equally,
look at us, so we want to be on that side
Yeah.
of it. And not be
equally
scared
it
because
can
this
be
technology is
used.
there.
Equally can be used for bad, porque hoy
I
en
think,
día
I think,
también
I think it's at this
there's
point
so
it's
much
taking the bad with the good.
misinformation,
Yes.
no?
yes.
It's
There's so
focusing
much-
on the good and
so
using
much
it for that.
misinformation,
Yeah.
which is AI generated with the images y cosas así,
Yeah.
que ya, you look at the internet and you have to think, espérate.
Is this true or no?
Is this
Esto
true or not?
es-
Just- are you telling me that video of
because
Trump
you're
isn't
beginning
real?
to question what the truth is
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
No?
This is a
red
lot.
one,
This is a lot. This is too much for my brain.
Sí.
So what we're going to do is we're going to break for Janito's abroad. This week we're off to the UK. Let's just pray she's not into AI.
I'm Kim and I live in England. I live in the southwest of England. I obviously came to England to study and then thought I was going back to Gib and then met my current husband. So it kind of changed things a little bit. Saw an opportunity, I saw a vacancy in basically my dream job. So I work with people with eating disorders. I'm a psychological therapist. So I assess people with eating disorders, provide treatment and care and help them, support them with recovery. Unfortunately, yes, they're really common and they have the highest mortality rates. So more people die from eating disorders than any other mental health disorder. As much as I can, really. So we definitely every summer we try and squeeze in a week or two in the summer holidays, and then Christmas we alternate. 1 year we spend it in England, 1 year we spend it in Gib, and then any other time we try and squeeze in another little trip, or my parents might come and visit us here. Yeah, definitely at home I get to express myself, and I've got 2 boys, 5 and 3, and teaching them as much as I can, and Janito, the odd Spanish words and things like that. But it's quite hard when there's no one around you speaking the language either. So, yeah. Definitely. National Day, we always dress up in red and white. Last National Day, my brother actually lives in England as well, not too far from me, and they hosted a little National Day party. So we all went there, and did all the local foods. We had croqueta, we had torta patata, we had all sorts. So yeah, keep those traditions, definitely. I miss when in Gib, you walk down the street and you're going to bump into someone you know. There's a high chance that you're going to bump into someone you know. Whereas, when you're outside of Gib, it can feel quite lonely at times. You won't recognize people when you're walking down the street and things like that. So I've kind of built a little community, and I've got close friends and things like that in the area. But yeah, you'd miss that. I always think I feel really, really privileged to be able to holiday in Gibraltar. I live in a lovely place, but actually I get to pop over to Gib all the time, and it's like my second home. And what a nice place to have as a second home. Hi everyone, always miss you, and looking forward to the next time we see you.
Little ones,
Yo no estaba aquí.
There you go. Thanks for getting in touch, Kim Bass, all the way over in the UK. I'll be honest, I'm still getting over the AI thing. My brain is kind of like mashed potatoes right now. So some light relief. Ya queda poco. A Janito comedy. Kenneth Cardona, talk to us.
Bueno.
It's finally here.
I've been honored to be asked to take part in Nightmare en el Museo with Mike and Nath, the No Fear detectives. Yeah, I think this is the third one that they've done. Vale?
It's really good.
This one,
Stage
unfortunately,
production, Incest Hall.
yeah, 12th to the 15th of May. If you don't have the ticket, you get it quick, porque se están yendo pronto.
¿Qué era? El Nightmare del Museo de
Yeah, so please tell us, what's your character?
What's your role? What's your role?
Okay.
We want to know.
I see you as kind of like the...
Without giving too much away, ¿vale? It's based on the museum, y yo soy tour guide.
Pues no lo veo,
¿Y habla tú?
¡Claro que hablo! ¿Tú te crees que yo me puedo quedar callado por 2 horas? ¡Que vamos!
Digo, a lo mejor hace miming tú, porque tú no eres hablar.
Is that your first venture into sort of acting and stuff?
Well, no, I've done a little bit many years ago, pero es que this time they asked me to do this y en verdad, bueno,
Why
¿qué
not?
vamos a
no?
hacer? Come and watch it.
The cast is full of some of Gibraltar's biggest personalities.
Sí,
yeah?
Nathan,
it's looking good.
Nathan Pius, Tony Loddo, Andy Coombs, Jesse Scruton. Is a heavy cast of characters there. Imagine the rehearsals.
¿Ha habido Clash of the Titans?
No, the Clash of the Titans viene en el play.
vale, okay.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Yeah. But basically, just a shout out to anybody who hasn't got tickets, 12th to the 15th of May.
Compraslo ya.
Buytickets.gi y queda un poquito con que get on the computer. O si no, le pregunta a la AI del colega.
Good stuff. So we had we have that next month. Earlier this month, we also had I really wanted to mention the Urban Oasis Awards, because these are it's the inaugural awards. I just think it's a great initiative, no, just to celebrate greenness, no, a greener Gibraltar. I thought it was a great idea.
Sí. Y Annabelle from the she's behind, from the Gibraltar Horticultural Society.
That one.
Sí, really, really, really good initiative. Y la verdad que se nota. You go like all down Irish Town, they've put loads of flowers up.
Yeah.
Residents as well have been involved. Con que la verdad, it's
I saw
Again,
the
más de
awards
eso
on
hace falta, la verdad.
GBC, and the patios.
Yeah.
Me encantó.
Yeah.
We need greenery in
It's
Gibraltar.
one of those, I'll be honest, I would never considered myself green-fingered
No,
or
neither
sort
am
of
I.
that way inclined, but ya que it's in front of me, I'm like, yes.
Okay, the first impression to Gibraltar when you come through that frontier, I know that the frontier is coming down, but regardless, when you come in, we need to see a green Gibraltar. We need que esté bonito, no? Que the first impression always counts. We don't have a, oh wow, we're in Gibraltar, que bonito.
Claro,
está
first
hecho.
impressions are
First
important.
impression, we need.
Giving credit where credit is due. Lo que sí está muy bonito es these flower carts which are appearing
Me
in
encanta.
town.
Yes.
So there was one outside the cathedral, I think it is.
Outside
Another
Parliament,
one,
no?
Sí. There's 2 or 3 in town. Eso está precioso. And it's such a simple idea. A ver
Yes.
si me entiende, ¿no? And going back to your comment on the entrance to Gibraltar, ¿no? Tú entras ahí en Gibraltar, aparte de que es un pastizo ahora mismo, ¿no? ¿Qué greenery hay ahí?
Nada.
I mean, even the entrance to the tunnel, for
Yes.
example. Yeah? Why don't we have bushes or trees on both sides and en medio o lo que sea?
O los
¿no?
cards. Cogerlo de la calle real también. Change
Ponerlo allí.
places and
Ya.
place it
Or
there.
like, whatever. Pero que, yeah. And I mean,
Yeah.
you go to other places, it gives you such a good impression just to see plants and flowers.
It's
and whatever.
welcoming,
Pero
it's
bueno,
inviting,
it's
¿no?
Not concrete.
Pero lo de los awards, it's different porque it's more grassroots, no pun intended, but it's rewarding people and businesses for doing that anyway.
Yes.
Eso se ha hecho toda la vida, like and making sure you plant where you live, you're greening.
Yeah.
It's
Bit
just
of
giving
recognition.
incentive, claro, a bit of
Yeah.
recognition.
And actually,
Okay.
of the residents category, it was Joran Henshaw who took home the main prize. She is just the sweetest lady. This is what she had to say.
I saw it.
I always love flowers. So when they started building the ramp, I had a good idea of putting all plants, a few plants. And one of the neighbors, he gave me 1 or 2 big plants. And from there, I plant seeds. I buy some plants, of course. Some of them have been given to me. And I just love it. I've never won anything. So this for me is, I think, the highlight of my of my life.
That's so sweet.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Que shuni, no?
A friend of mine was telling me, one of my childhood friends was telling me que el abuelo always made them enter el flower show
Yeah.
y the Picton,
Sí, sí,
The
sí,
Picton.
sí. Sí.
el descansado de Frank.
I remember
Sí.
going into having entries in the flower show at the time with the school.
Bueno, I was just about to say, I think the
many
only
years ago.
time I'm not green fingers, y claro, we live in a flat in Montague
Yeah.
Gardens. We don't have the space for it. Me gusta mucho, pero I just don't have the space. Pero in school, we used to enter.
Sí, yeah, yeah.
Hello. Ahora, having said that, in Montague Gardens, they're beautifying it a bit. No mucho. I think there's still room for improvement, as always. But you can see that there's trees. There's a little patch donde I've seen los nípero, and they are growing.
Yeah.
The gardener there is, I think,
They're
is
in
doing.
season now, ni pero.
Sí.
Okay, como un little allotment type
See,
thing, you know?
just in front of the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sí, no, no,
I-
está
Had a
bien.
couple of messages in on WhatsApp, again, anonymous, so we can't credit anyone in particular. They're saying, anyone noticed how beautiful our rock is looking this spring? And then talking of the frontier, how about a bit of maintenance in the tunnel, which is already starting to look a little bit tatty? Someone who's not in tatty condition at all is Sir Mo Farah. Good segue. 4-time Olympic gold medalist. He was here on the rock this past weekend. Where on earth were you, por favor? I did the Round the Rock run. I was looking for all 3 of you. Nada.
I was in the airport taking my husband porque se fue para Inglaterra.
Fine. Okay.
Sorry.
You?
It's too early. So, yeah,
Fine.
Yeah, no, digo,
Kenneth, you?
Weekend away
Call
with the
yourself
Duke
a
of
walker.
Edinburgh.
Okay.
Bueno.
Fine.
How did it
Vamos.
go, Robin? Well,
Yeah, how
tell
did
us.
Tell us about
tell
that.
us.
I live to tell the tale. Here I am, breathing.
No, it must have been an experience.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you
know,
see him on the run?
You know, for about the first 5 seconds. No, stop. Mo, stop.
And then you had to stop to have a coffee. No, yeah. Por eso no fui yo, digo.
But it was lovely. He was.
That's my nephew.
There you go.
At the
Yeah.
front, los mellizos.
Yeah.
Noah y Chloe está por detrás también. And she's in one of these shots. Mo's signing, I don't know whether it was a t-shirt, creo que le firmó.
Robin, you may have met him, no? Pero the impression I got from, not only from this, pero from other times I've heard him being interviewed in different programs y todo lo demás, ¿no? He comes across as such a humble person. And I love that.
Yeah.
Especially when you have reached that level of success.
Yeah,
Que no
exactly.
tienen tontería
He
ni
wants
son
to come back.
arrogantes ni
Exactly.
nada.
He did
I mean,
say-
there's famous and then there's famous. This guy is mega famous, and
Yeah.
considering He was, like you say, he was really, really kind with absolutely everyone, had time for everybody. Yeah, muy amable. Yeah, very nice guy.
He sounded. I heard his interview this morning.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you guys may have heard of the story of him reuniting with an old friend. Janito, Lee Taylor. Shout out Lee Taylor if you're watching.
Was in uni with
they
him,
went to uni together.
I heard it.
right?
And we helped sort of reunite them, kind of thing. And there was hugs, and it was.
So when he got told, do you want to go to Gibraltar? You're going to Gibraltar. He said, I know somebody from Gibraltar.
Yeah.
See, Lee, didn't know his son. He said, ya estaba los dos picados. Okay, we need to find this Lee, no? It's amazing that came together, no?
That happens so often, tú sabes, because we're such a unique people que sometimes you go to some place or whatever, cuando menos lo esperas, they ask you, where do you come from, Gibraltar? Y te saltan y te dicen, oh, I know somebody from Gibraltar. Y me ha pasado en una pila de sitios. Some of them so odd.
I was in San Francisco.
¿De dónde sale esto?
And we'll always track them down.
Yeah.
I was in San Francisco.
Obviously, we're causing an impression on people.
Sí, we do.
Wherever,
Pero también it's the accent.
Sí, I suppose
I think we attract people with our... Porque I was in Denny's, creo que se llama. Estaba en San Francisco con mi marido, and the waiter had... Where are you guys from? From Gibraltar. Oh, I know somebody from Gibraltar. He was actually here with his family a couple of weeks ago.
Lee Taylor.
Like it?
He gets around.
Right, time for a quick break. Back shortly. Welcome back. Now, only one person on this sofa has met the king. I can confirm it's not Kenneth Cardona, although that is a conversation I'd pay good money to witness. It is, in fact, Annie Green, MBE. Hello, welcome. Thanks for doing this, Annie.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Still in shock?
Still in shock. Still in shock. I've been in shock ever since the governor gave me the very good news.
Not sunk in, really?
Yes, I'm getting there, but I still sometimes think, oh, that happened.
It just happened, and then what? You just carried on carrying on, kind of thing.
Yes, that's it. So
it's an amazing achievement. Was it a shock?
It was a huge shock when I was informed officially, but very nicely, by the governor.
We'll get into that and sort of you being
Was it an
sworn
email? I
to
would have thought it was a spam email.
Delete.
Prank call. Prank call.
So for anybody who is unfamiliar with your work, you are currently the co-chair of Childline Gibraltar.
Childline Gibraltar, yes.
And just explain what the MBE was for.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say that whilst it was a huge honour for me to receive this MBE, I couldn't have achieved anything in Childline without my fellow trustees and a fantastic team of volunteers. We have nearly 100 volunteers now.
Wow.
And our staff team, and the dedication that exists on a daily basis of striving to make sure that all of the services we provide now. And so it's a huge honour to be recognised in this way, but I couldn't have achieved anything without this huge effort from all of us.
Okay, so let's get to know the person behind the role. Let's rewind back to the beginning. You were born and raised in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Yes.
Post-war.
Yes.
Take us back. What was that like?
It was a wonderful childhood, wonderful parents, lived in a tenement, and we were probably very poor, but we didn't realise that. And it was a lively tenement to live in because there were lots of Italians. Sadly, a few Italian widows from the period of the Second World War. My father used to often tell me about a terrible circumstance where the British government deported a lot of Italian men who were had been living in Edinburgh and in Leith in the port, and they were deported during the Second World War, and the ship was sunk, and all the lives were lost. Consequently, there were a few widows, many widows left, but where I lived, there was 4 or 5 widows there. And so it was, my dad used to mention that this is a great sadness and something about which we should be ashamed. So that was...
and that's where your charity work sort of was born, no? That was kind of like the spark that lit the fire a little
Well,
bit. Like, he sort of really celebrated and promoted altruism and, you know, doing things for others.
Certainly my parents did. And it was pretty normal circumstances for us as a family. My father was always off doing something, fixing somebody's door or helping somebody up with heavy goods or shopping, and my mother as well. And when she retired, she immediately joined the WRVS. And so they both did voluntary work in some capacity all of the time that I can remember growing up, and my brothers as well.
We sometimes talk about kind of like smells, like sparking like memories and stuff.
Yes.
And we went for a coffee the other day and you were telling me about how the smell of pasta to this day.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, because...
Because there were so many Italians on the street.
Yes, and it was great. It was great, honestly. We had the full benefit of that. And my mother then was able to do 1 or 2 of the Italian dishes. And my father helped out with... he spoke a little bit of Italian he was in Italy, interned during the Second World War, actually. And so he spoke a little bit of Italian. And so, yeah, whenever we came home from school, oh, the smell of the sugo.
Annie, did they have haggis pizza?
What a combination. What a combination.
Why not? Why not?
I mean, if they
why
put
not?
pineapple on pizza, why not haggis? No?
It would be a criminal offence, I think.
See, yeah.
You're not having that.
Off to the tower.
Yes.
And so then you come to Gibraltar
Yes.
in the late 70s?
Yes,
in search of work?
No, not in search. Well, yes, partly. But I had always hoped to work in a hotel. But my parents were very, very keen on that because I had a good job in the civil service. And so they were settled on Gibraltar, British overseas. So I was very lucky. And from 1979 and worked for the Collector Hotel, Macedonies, for 12 years.
Enter the closed border years.
During the closed frontier years, yes, which I know were artificial and it was difficult, but it was great fun.
So the Caleta Hotel would have been full of British tourists?
Yes, British tourists, yes. And we were always full. Maybe not so much in the late autumn, but certainly, yes, it was very, very
What was the
popular.
food like?
Terrible. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah. Now that you've mentioned
Sit on the fence like that.
the Caleta Palace Hotel, no, during the closed frontier years, it just brought back a memory. The Catalan Room.
Yes.
That was one of the...
What was the Catalan Room?
The Catalan Room was the go-to disco,
It was,
at the time, yeah? When I was like 17, 18 or algo así, yeah?
Yeah, I remember you coming in.
You see, yeah. And actually telling the doorman that I was actually older than I was. There used to be like an age limit, no? I can't remember whether it was 20, 18 or something like that. And I think I was about 16 or 17 the first time. No, are you 18? Yes!
You wouldn't have any trouble now.
No.
There was no ID cards, no, at that time
was
to
not-
show as
No, actually, what happened was that it was a closed frontier situation then, and everybody knew
was great
everybody.
fun, yes,
you know,
it was great
basically,
fun.
the guy knew that I was.
you weren't 18.
Annie, you actually look back and think back on the closed border years really fondly.
Oh, definitely, yes, definitely. Because I mean, I know it was not realistic, but it was safe now in Gibraltar. But it was so safe. I remember double parking the car and leaving the key in
Okay.
Yeah.
in case somebody wanted to get out. Yes, yes. Great. It's very look back on it very, very fondly.
So talk to us about Childline Gibraltar, when Childline Gibraltar was founded, how many years after it was founded in the UK, and how you kind of got involved in that.
Well, we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary in June. So I think that's a massive achievement. I became involved because when we came back to Gibraltar for my husband's job, I was happy to come back. I'd always fingers crossed that we would one of those days. And I had just previously worked in an adult male prison in Cambridgeshire. 2 of the wings concentrated on the rehabilitation and incarceration of sex offenders. And it was a very demanding role, but a very rewarding role also. And over a period of time, part of my job was to help and advise the visitors' families. And I often used to suggest Childline, especially for the children who clearly, many of them, had been traumatised by various aspects of their upbringing. And so I knew then that contact with Childline was a very positive outcome for one of the visitors in particular. So.
When you sort of think about vulnerable children now, is demand higher? Is it better? Is it worse than it was, say, 20 years ago? Is it the same, just that sort of intelligence and surveillance is better, and so we're sort of...
Intelligence and surveillance is better, but those terrible situations that you're alluding to have always been there. It's just that we are maybe now a bit more aware, and we're, particularly at Childline, we're standing by. We're standing by to receive calls from children and young people, and we've had to adapt so much. For example, when I first started as a volunteer, it was just a happy coincidence that the first thing I did was buy the Chronicle, and there was an advert. Childline needed volunteers, and I thought this would maybe be a good way to
Good
use.
thing you bought the Chronicle.
I did.
Good
I
thing you
did,
bought the
yes.
Chronicle.
I
Now
did,
how
yes,
life
exactly.
comes just down to sort of chance moments.
I'm a big fan of the Chronicle.
Have you seen an increase in calls throughout the years, or is data sort of
Well,
stabilised, or
we are doing so much more. We're doing, initially, it was the helpline,
okay,
and specialist training was required to
be able to answer,
answer.
yeah.
And now, in response to all of the needs that our staff are identifying, we now have the helpline, and then we have Teen Line as well, which was established year before last, because our surveying, we found that some of the teenagers were a bit reluctant. The word child, so
Because they felt they'd aged out of
Yes.
that sort of service, no?
yes, and
Makes
so
sense.
we introduced Childline, and everything that we do, we have special training for. We have 100 volunteers in total,
is-
all who are trained, especially for the different roles that they wish to volunteer with. And we have, our services now, we operate the DART programme, Domestic Abuse Recovery Together. And our staff have been trained to do that, and they're licensed. And we have also care for the families, which is a very nice process, quite a simple process, where we help. Sometimes we have referrals from the care agency, of course. And I'm also so proud of the great relationship we have, for example, with the care agency.
Oh, nice.
And I think they do a marvellous job here.
Hey, Dave,
They
like
really
we've spoken about this in past episodes, know that Gibraltar on the surface has this sort of like glitzy, almost fairy tale look about it, because he's safe and it's low crime, but actually when you kind of like dig beneath the surface and hear stories like Annie's, it's like
When Annie, we talked about it just before.
Yes,
We just
yes,
thought
we
there
did.
is that element, you know, when you're looking at Childline or Gypsams, and people go, "Bueno, here, why?
safe.
Yeah, it's safe
safe,
for these
don't-
things." And how many people really call? Why? What's the service for?
See, that's why.
And actually, these
David,
services they grow because there is a need. No?
Yeah.
In
And
my
there is
career,
but there is a
for
great
example,
support.
In my career, for example, I came across situations where you used to think, you know, there's something not quite right there, no? Pero que, yeah, we tend to have this idea that we live in this fairyland
No.
See? Yeah.
bubble, if you see what I
Sí,
mean. And
sí,
there
sí,
are
sí.
people who have genuine problems, if you see what I mean. No? But one of the things I wanted to ask Annie was, by and large, what is the nature of the calls that Childline gets in terms of, you know, more or less what are the issues? If
Well,
you see what I mean.
it varies, of course, right across the board, but bullying, family issues, and sometimes a child or a young person will call, you know, numerous times before they then start to get into the
To open up. no?
To open up.
Yeah.
conversation. So there is, I mean, in my personal view, what I have noticed over the years is that this generation of parents, I think we're seeing a different outcome from a particular style of parenting.
Of parenting.
For example, our appropriate adult service, we have been operating that now since 2008. And specialist training, we are affiliated with each, we're affiliated for the appropriate adult service with NAN, the National Association of Appropriate Adult Networks, so that our volunteers are appropriately trained to be able to cope with what they're faced with at the police station. What strikes me in the Gibraltar that I used to remember, so, and still, this is home of choice for all these good reasons, but quite often when we're accompanying a juvenile, for example, who's in custody, and I often think, this is 14-year-olds who hasn't got one adult in their life who's willing to come and support them. And that, in
See.
the community which we
That
enjoy
is-
living in,
that is-
that's
It's sad.
it's very sad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
very
Talk to
sad.
us about, there was one, again, when we went for our coffee, you spoke about one of the success stories, no?
Yeah.
And this one does really have a happy ending, and it's
It
it's
does.
lovely. Share it with us if you don't mind.
It's a bit more of a personal success story, really, that we're all altruistic people in our organisation, our trustees, our staff, and our volunteers. And sometimes some of what we achieve and some of what we do is very confidential, so it cannot be discussed openly. But one of our functions is the appropriate adult service, where this is 24 hours a day. We have volunteers on call 24 hours a day. And for a period of time, there was only a few of us, and I was one of the few. And so we would see sometimes a juvenile on a regular basis. And of course, the police here are very compassionate as much as they can be. But at the end of the day, a crime has been committed.
Yeah.
And anyway, there was one particular young, 14 or 15 at the time, and we used to talk. Sometimes we have a period of time before the charges are read to them, and we're asking about what kind of work would he like to do, and he said he would like to work on a building site, and just those conversations that take place. And we used to have a plastic card. We can't use plastic anymore, but you had a plastic card that had the Childline number on it. And so it was our custom to always, when we left them, leave them a card. You get in touch with us, we could help. We could help you, and they do. And so just last Christmas, I was in the queue in Morrison's, as you do, and it's packed. You're meeting everybody, and everybody's... And so I'm in the queue, and I glanced over, and this young lad was in the queue. This is about 5 years on. And he filled out a bit. And he glanced over at me, and I glanced back at him, and I did this. He said,
Wave.
and he waved back. And when he was leaving, I was still in the queue when he was leaving. And he reached into his pocket and held up the card. And then he turned round and pointed to the back of his jacket.
He worked in a building
working.
site, in a construction.
He was working. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Did this and he
Proud moment for both of
Yeah.
you.
absolutely.
I would have been in
Doing it.
tears.
Absolutely.
I would
Yes,
have.
no.
I would have shed a tear.
Absolutely. I was. I was. See, I was thrilled.
That's
was
a lovely
thrilled.
moment.
I was thrilled.
Speaking of being thrilled,
Oh,
and so then you receive a letter, an email, a WhatsApp, a carrier pigeon. Like how do you receive?
Really,
the
How did it
message?
happen?
I received a telephone call from the office of the governor. And the governor and his wife had just visited Childline. At their request, we were delighted to receive them. And we were able to discuss a lot of what we do. We came to the office, met the staff. So we were delighted with that. But there was part of the conversation where we had to be a bit plain with him. And I received a telephone call from the governor's office to say that he would like to see me that afternoon. And I thought,
What have I done? What have I said? No.
maybe I was a bit too forthright. Oh no, I'm going to get. And shown up by his ADC into the yellow room, which is the lovely lounge area, and one of his office staff gave me an envelope, and she said the governor would like you to open this and read it before he comes in, and it was just the first paragraph. And I couldn't read it. I couldn't continue to read it. And she said, I better do it for you. And that was that. And then very soon after that, the governor came in and was very
Spilt the
charming
beans.
and yes, spilt the beans. And I said, I can't believe this. I said, I don't do this on my own. I do it with staff and it's volunteers. And he said, Annie, I've read the citation. Just believe it.
And so then you're sworn to
wonderful.
sort of 6 months of secrecy. You're
6
not allowed
months
to
of
say a word. And
months.
then Windsor Castle, the trip to Windsor
Yes,
Castle.
it
We've
was
got some
wonderful.
amazing,
Oh,
amazing
wow.
photos.
Great. Yes.
Please reveal what you said to him and what he said to you.
We want to know.
Want to know? Yes. It's actually it's a wonder. I mean, it's so beautifully choreographed, as you can imagine, and there was all the speculation about would it be Princess Anne, would it be William? My daughter wanted it to be Prince William.
So you didn't. At this point, you didn't know. Who
No, you
would
don't.
Be,
You don't know. You don't know
Oh.
until you arrive.
until you get there.
Yes, until you get there, yeah. And it's beautifully choreographed, as you would expect. And you're ushered through these beautiful rooms, and then in the very last room, you're given a bit of a one-to-one, in-depth briefing about how you're going to
Protocol,
behave,
no, how-
protocol and
yeah.
everything. But have you got time about yes? We
For
were
the king? Yes.
for the king, yeah. So we were ushered into the groups of people, because you can have 3 family members. In my case, it was my husband, my daughter, and son-in-law. And everybody's in groups, and there were some lovely dresses to look at, you know. And there was one particular lady who had the most stunning red dress, and it was really, you could notice it. And my daughter had said, oh, that dress, I'm looking at that dress. And everybody was clearly a wee bit nervous, because you're just about to go in. And the lady in the red dress came walking right over to me and said, well, I'm here with my mother and the family, and we're just wondering, would you mind telling us where you got your trouser suit? Really? Yes, yes. And I'm looking at her thinking, I know her. She looked familiar. And I said, oh, mango in Gibraltar. She said, I like mango. She's like, and I said, and my daughter, we were admiring your dress. And she said, may I ask what your award is for? I told her. And I asked what her award was for. And her award was for maintaining awareness of the Holocaust in young adults. And as soon as she started to speak about that, I recognised her. Name is Tracy Ann Oberman. She's an actress.
All right.
Yeah. And so I mentioned, and I was the vulnerable children in Gibraltar. So we she shook hands and she was so charming. And then she went off. She was told, you have to come back to your group now. And then we were placed directly in front of them. And her mother said to me, oh, Tracy Ann was telling me that you were receiving this award for your work in Gibraltar. And I said, yes. She says, do you know the Saruyas? And I said, this could only happen. And my husband's like this could only happen.
I can't believe this.
Like you, we've been everywhere and bumped into people from Gibraltar. And I've heard, and that was... and so I said, well, yes, of course I know who they are. I don't know them personally. Well, we came to Gibraltar. We must come back, Tracy Ann. We should go, shouldn't we? Get your number. I thought.
Small world moment.
Small world.
And so you're face to face with King Charles.
Yes, yes. And we were able to watch. So there's a big screen in that last room. So you're able to look at the people who are just ahead of you. And he was very, very stern looking. And I thought, And anyway, as I must have been smiling nervously, I think, because I was nervous. I really was. Yeah. And he just smiled broadly back. And he was absolutely he said, now then, Childline in Gibraltar, tell me a little. So off I went.
You've sort of rehearsed your lines a little
Well,
bit,
yes,
no?
I had it already.
When did you get to know it was actually King Charles that...
Just on the day. Just on the day itself. Yeah.
It must have been like, wow.
It really
surreal,
was.
no?
Yes, it was. It was such a huge honour, not just for me, for my family, but I couldn't have achieved anything without this huge team.
The team,
our
yeah.
staff, my fellow trustees, and nearly 100 volunteers.
Amazing.
Yes.
And so a shout out to Annie Green, the 100 other volunteers, everyone that's worked for the charity in the past, and Annie, here's to the next 20 years.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations and thanks for doing this. It's been a pleasure.
No, it's been a pleasure and an honour.
Nice one. And that's after King Charles, as you say. It's an honour. That's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Congratulations once again to Annie Green on having received an MBE. We are creeping closer and closer towards the end of the City Pulse season. Only a few shows left, but we've still got some great guests lined up. That is a promise. Until next week, it's goodbye.